The topic is a lot of fun to talk about, and Magic Johnson almost ran me out of Los Angeles when we were talking about this, and I was making these statements publicly on the air. Magic didn't appreciate what I was saying, and he threatened to have the mayor deport me from L.A.
Wait a minute. What was the discrepancy over?
Well, we were talking about the greatest teams in history over the last 40, 50 years. You guys have only gone back 30. But we were talking about it on the air on my show out here in L.A. a couple of years back, and we were talking about this very topic.
You didn't have the Lakers?
Memory. Yeah, refresh our memory. So what was Magic so ticked off about?
Well, because since you guys brought it up about who's the best team over the last 30 years, and I said that team that I watched every game in person in the semifinals and finals of the 17-18 NBA Finals, nobody was going to beat Kevin Durant's Golden State team. That team had three of the greatest shooters in the history of the game. Nobody could shoot with them, so nobody could beat them. Simple as that. And we're talking about some great teams here, but that's the best. I played with some of the greatest teams in the Showtime era. I played against Jordan. That Warrior team and Kevin Durant, best team I've ever seen.
So you think we got the wrong Warriors team here? Because we put 16-17. We should have put 17-18. I'll tell you the reason why. Because it was a bit of a harder trip through the playoffs for them. Game 7 with Houston. So we thought this 16-17 team that went Portland, Utah, San Antonio, and beat the Cavs 4-1, 15-1 in the playoffs was the better team.
Well, the one went Game 7. Kevin Durant missed that series, didn't he?
Yeah, well, and also was Chris Paul got hurt in that series too, if I'm remembering.
Yeah, but with Kevin Durant, when he was healthy, nobody was going to beat that team. That's why I said 16, 17. Either one works as long as Kevin Durant's healthy. Nobody's going to beat that team. They just shot the ball too well. They were well balanced. They had great guys off the bench. They were well coached, and their defense was very underrated because their shooting was so overwhelming. People didn't really pay attention to their team defense. Draymond Green was the best defensive player in the game. So, no, nobody's going to beat the Warriors. As far as I'm concerned, that's the best team I've ever seen. And I played on some of the greatest teams, played against some of the greatest teams, but I've never anybody could shoot with that team. They were ridiculous. I told Clay, if you guys would have stayed healthy and stayed together, you guys would have won 7, 8 championships.
Is that one of the greatest, maybe bummers, I don't know how to put it, what ifs about Durant leaving to go to Brooklyn? Is that one of the great NBA, if we could just go back in history and keep him on that Warriors team, what could have been?
Oh, yeah, no question about it. I think about that all the time, and Kevin is his own man, and he had accomplished what he went there to do, is win championships. Now he wanted to go on to another challenge, and I don't blame him. I wish he would have stayed. But, yeah, if he would have stayed and continued that quest to try to catch Jordan, I thought they would surpass him if they would have stayed healthy.
Mychal, if you had to pick one Lakers team, forget the 30-year rule for a second. You could pick any Lakers team from any era. What's the greatest Laker team of all time?
Well, of course, I'm biased. So I'm going to say my '87 Lakers team with me and AC Green and me and Kurt Rambis and Michael Cooper coming off the bench. We only went 8 deep. That's all you need to do in the finals is go 8 deep, really, because all your starters are going to play 40 minutes if they're not in foul trouble and if they're healthy. They should be playing 40 minutes. So you only need 3 guys off the bench. So for me, that '87 team was the greatest Laker team ever.
But Kareem was a little bit older on the second half of the '80s. Could you argue a younger Kareem was better than an older Kareem?
Oh, yeah, of course, the younger Kareem was. But by that time, Magic was in his prime. James Worthy was unstoppable. Byron Scott was one of the greatest shooters that game has ever seen. And Michael Cooper was the best all-around defensive player in the game. So that Laker team, even though Kareem was older and didn't have to carry as much of a load, Kareem had a lot of help where he didn't have to carry the load. They kept him fresh all year.
We're talking to a Lakers legend. That is Mychal Thompson, who was a 2-time champion with the Lakers, now a broadcaster, of course, and joining us on the Maggie and Perloff show. So I talked about the great what if of if Durant had stayed with the Warriors. What about if Shaq and Kobe had stayed together? Now, I know you were around the team then. I mean, thinking back on it now, Mychal, was there any way that team could have been held together?
At the time, no. Shaq was thinking about he wanted more money. He and Kobe weren't getting along. And you are so right, Maggie. 3 championships. They should have won 6 championships, 7. If they would have just stayed together, stayed motivated, stayed committed to winning championships. Kobe was just coming into his prime. Shaq was still in his. Oh, yeah, they could have won 6 or 7 rings if they would have just stayed together.
Okay, so you did play, obviously, against Michael Jordan. I think in my opinion, the strongest argument against your Warriors team would be one of the prime Michael Jordan team. Did you play were you in the finals against the Bulls in the first
91,
one?
91, and we lost that finals because Worthy got hurt. If Worthy wouldn't have got hurt, we would have won that finals. We went to Chicago, won game one. Worthy twisted his ankle, and then he was done for the rest of the playoff, that series. So without Worthy, we weren't going to beat the Bulls. Imagine if Scottie Pippen wasn't playing in that series. The Bulls wouldn't have beaten us, but we weren't at 100% when Michael won that championship that year. And it probably would have gone 7 games, but I thought we would have won it. But, yeah, I mean, that Jordan team was special, too. All these teams you mentioned, all we talking about, they're all special teams.
So, Michael, Perloff and I have been talking a lot about the Bulls recently, and we kind of had a disagreement about, I think it's kind of a no-brainer that the second three-peat might have been better in terms of complete better team, that the second three-peat was maybe a complete better team than the first three-peat. Perloff didn't agree. Where do you fall on that?
Yeah, I think Michael's second three-peat was better because he was even smarter, and he still was at the peak of his powers. Then they have great complementary players around him. Dennis Rodman was a rebounding and defensive demon, and they had a great guys coming off the bench. So because of their experience and their intelligence, basketball IQ that grew throughout the years, I would put this second repeat team better. His second repeat team would beat the first repeat teams.
It seems like we have a theme here. We have the older, wiser players versus the younger versions of themselves, which brings me to the San Antonio Spurs. We also got an argument where I said the 13-14 Spurs that beat the Heat in the finals
with Kawhi
Leonard and an older Tim Duncan were actually a better team possibly than 04, 05, 06, 07 and some of the earlier Spurs championships. You buying that at all?
Yeah, that's a good argument. Kawhi was such a good player, such a good all-around player. He was starting to take over that franchise, and they still, other guys, Tim Duncan was still close to being the dominant Tim Duncan, even though he was aging by that time. So that's a good argument because they are much more well-balanced with Kawhi there.
Mychal Thompson is our guest. And again, thank you for carving out some time for us today. Mychal, just a couple more for you. Turning ahead to what's going on. Well, last night you got some good news from LeBron James. I don't know if anyone thought he was actually retiring, but he cleared up that he is not. And lucky us, we're all going to get him for another year. What's the ceiling, do you think, for this this Lakers team?
Well, we made the Final Four last year, and I think that the moves that Rob Pelinka has made, the Lakers have improved, so they can be right back in the Final Four again next year and be threatening for the championships. And I don't know, you guys must not be paying attention to LeBron. Hasn't LeBron told the world that he wants to play at least one season with Bronny?
Yeah.
Bronny's going to be a freshman at FC. Bronny's good enough. He is good enough to be an NBA player. So if he has a good season at FC and elects to leave, then LeBron's going to play 2 more years at least because, he wants to play with his son at least a year.
We were actually thinking where's the perfect place for LeBron to go if he leaves the Lakers. How about playing with your son in Golden State someday? Because, he said a lot of nice things about Steph Curry. That'd be a good team.
Oh, no question about anywhere LeBron goes, he's going to improve the team and add to the team. Even if he's not going to be the dominant player that he once was, when you have that, if you're around LeBron, like I am, when I see him face-to-face or away from the court, when you guys don't see him on the court, but I just see him around the hotels and stuff because I travel with the team, you really don't get a sense of what an amazing physical specimen this guy is. There's not an ounce of fat on him. He works out all the time, all hours of the night. He puts in the time. Even at 38, going to be 39, his body's like he's 28 or 29 years of age, even after 20, 21 years of basketball. The guy is a physical phenomenon. He's different, man. That's why he can do what he does.
He said last night he's never cheated the game. No matter what you think of him, and we're fans, but no matter what you think of him, never cheated the game, and he's so right about that. Mychal, just final thoughts from me here, which is about the Golden State Warriors, which it's going to be interesting to see in the next couple years what the Warriors do and where they go. But this offseason had a big decision to make about Draymond Green. They were open about it, said we want him back, we need him back. Draymond Green being in and Jordan Poole being shipped out. Were you surprised at all that that's how things landed?
Of course. Everybody was surprised when Poole was traded because we all thought that he was going to be part of the future going forward and help slow down the aging process of Clay and Steph because obviously he's an NBA champion and he's a dynamic player in his own right. But this way, I think the Warriors got smarter, including a guy like Chris Paul, who's a clutch player. Even though he's 38, he doesn't have to carry a team as much as he did 4, 5, 6 years ago. But he knows Chris Paul can fit in anywhere. So that's going to make the Warriors even smarter down the stretch, having him on the floor.